Hello again. In the last video, we discussed how you can get a green card if you are the victim of abuse by your spouse. Today, we will discuss how you can get a green card if you are a victim of a crime in the United States. This is one area in the immigration laws that is often overlooked because it is not widely known. The United States government gives out 10,000 visas every year to immigrants and their families who are victims of crimes. The aim is to encourage immigrants who live in the United States out of status to come forward and report crimes committed against them without the fear of being deported. There is a number of crimes that qualify. The list range from murder to simply an undocumented worker whose employer refused to pay him, or the undocumented worker is forced to work in unfit conditions. Now, why would they give a visa to someone who is a victim of murder? Here is where it becomes interesting. Not only do they give a visa to the direct victim of the crime, they also give them to the close relatives of the victims. But as a caution, if you live in the United States and you are undocumented, do not go to any immigration center and tell them that you want to apply for a visa because you are a victim of crime. They do not issue them at immigration centers. These visas are issued at a special unit of the United States Citizen and Immigration Service in the state of Vermont. So then how does it work? The Immigration Service requires that you provide evidence of 4 things. First, that you are a victim of a crime. Second, you have information about that crime and that you have helped, you are helping, or you will be helping law enforcement to solve the crime. Third, that you suffered, either physically or mentally, or both, because of the crime. And fourth, you must show contrition. If you feel that you qualify, ask yourself these questions. Did you call the police? Did you answer their questions? Did you let them take pictures? Did you help them find who did the crime? Did you talk to the prosecutor? Did you testify in court? You do not have to do all of them. What they are looking for is that you helped and that you are willing to help if they need you in the future. Then you must show that you have suffered in one way or the other. These questions are just some guidelines. Did you feel pain? Are you still in pain? Did you have to miss work? Did it affect the way you look? Did you have to go to the doctor? Did you have to see a therapist? Did you have trouble eating or sleeping? Were you depressed? These are some questions that you must answer to determine if you meet the criteria to satisfy the requirements for the visa. Now, let me give you a couple of examples of immigrants who have received their visa through this program. Sue was an undocumented alien who was living here with her boyfriend. They had 2 children together. Her boyfriend often physically abused her, but she did not complain. One night, after another beating, Sue's face and much of her body was bruised. That night, she felt that she had enough and waited until her boyfriend left for work the next morning and called the police. The police took her to get medical treatment and to the social service department, where they provided her with housing and whatever else she needed to survive with her children on her own. That afternoon, when her boyfriend went home, instead of meeting Sue, he met the police waiting and he was arrested and charged. To spare Sue the agony of going to testify in court against him, they offered him a plea bargain that he accepted. Based on the crime committed against her, Sue applied for a visa as a victim of a crime and succeeded. Today, she has a green card. Another example is that of Steve. He was also undocumented. He came home from work one afternoon and saw his apartment door open. He went into the apartment and met a man in his bedroom with whatever valuables he had in his apartment on the floor. Steve screamed at him to get out, but the man took out a gun and placed it at his head and demanded that he give him what he had in his pocket and all the money he had in his apartment. Steve gave him all he had, and the man ran out. Steve recognized the burglar as someone from the neighborhood and called the police. He gave the police a statement, including the description of the burglar. The police caught up with the burglar, and Steve went to the station house to identify him. Steve also testified in court, and the burglar was convicted and was sent to prison. Since then, Steve has not slept comfortably in his apartment. He has nightmares of the man holding the gun to his head, and he often worried that when the burglar is released from prison, that he will come to hurt him. Both Sue and Steve were good candidates for a visa. They were both victims of crimes, and they reported the crime to the police. They helped the police in their investigation, and they suffered because of the crime committed against them. Sue suffered because of the beating that still leaves the scars on her face, and Steve suffered due to the fear and nightmares he had. But let us take it one step further. If when Steve entered his apartment, he did not meet the burglar, but all of his belongings were stolen, would he still qualify for the visa? The answer is no. Although Steve would not have been happy that he lost his belongings, it does not rise to the level that is required to qualify for the visa. Steve cannot say that he felt any pain directly connected to the robbery. So what do you do if you were a victim of a crime? Your first step will be to get someone in law enforcement to certify that you were a victim of a crime and that you reported it, and you have helped, you are helping, or you will be helping law enforcement in solving that crime. The law enforcement agent who certifies the form could be the police, the sheriff, the prosecutor, or even the judge who presided in the case if he testified in court. The Immigration Department provides the form. It is called an I-918 Sub B. The person who signs the form is not certifying that you get a visa. That is up to the Immigration Service. He or she is simply certifying that you were a victim of a crime and that you have cooperated with the police. After you have your I-918 Sub B certified, you must show the Immigration Service that you have suffered because of the crime. You can provide photos of any scars on your body that affect the way you look or the way you feel, and evidence of treatment you received or are receiving because of what you went through. Then you must show contrition. This type of visa is one of the few that the government issues whether or not you have committed a crime or even spent time in prison. But you must ask for a waiver for any and all crimes you have committed in the United States. Even if you have lived a straight and honest life, you will be surprised to know the number of laws you have violated in this country, and many are unforgivable. You are in violation of the law by the mere fact that you are here as an illegal alien. You may have crossed the border illegally. You may have used someone else's identity. And the biggest one of all, and the one that there is little forgiveness, is if you have portrayed yourself as an American citizen. So if you went looking for a job and you told your prospective employer that you are an American citizen, you have committed an unforgivable crime, one that deems you ineligible to get a green card regardless of the way you are getting it. This visa can bypass that, and is one of the few that does, but you must show contrition. You must write a statement about the crimes you have committed and ask the government to forgive you, and in most cases they will. Write as much as you can remember about the crimes and the way they were disposed. If you were convicted, and even if you think that the judge or the jury was wrong, you must accept responsibility. Let us say that you were charged because you hurt someone and you believe that you were well in your rights to do so, but you were convicted anyway. You must accept the responsibility and let the government know that you were wrong. Sometimes this is hard to do, but the difference could be getting a green card or living here out of status for the rest of your life, and if you leave, you can never come back. These visas allow you to live in the United States legally for up to 4 years. At the end of the 3rd year, you can apply for a green card for yourself and qualified family members. If the Immigration Service determines that you qualify for one of these visas, they will issue a work permit to you that you can take to the Social Security Administration to get a Social Security number. You can take it to the motor vehicles to get a driver's license, and you can work here legally. So now, which family members can you apply for? If you are over the age of 21, you can apply for your spouse and any unmarried children under the age of 21. If you are under 21 years old, you can apply for yourself and your parents, your unmarried children, your spouse, and your brothers and sisters under the age of 18. Your relatives do not have to live in the United States for you to apply for them. If you are no longer living in the United States, or even if you were deported, you may still be eligible. There is no time limit as to when the crimes took place, so even if it's a long time ago, you can still apply. What is also good about this program is that everything that you do is done through the submission of documents. So you are not directly in contact with the Immigration Service until you get a letter of approval. These visas are handled by a special section of the United States Citizen and Immigration Service. But to add some comfort to you, a good attorney will let all of the correspondence between you and the Immigration Service come to him instead of exposing where you live to the Immigration Service. The visas are released in October each year. Let us say that you applied in 1 year and the 10,000 visas were given out before they get to you. Your application will be placed on a waiting list, and when the new sets of visas are released, they are issued on the first-come, first-served basis. In the meantime, you will get notification from the Immigration Service as to whether or not your application is approved. If it is approved, then that letter can serve as proof that you can stay here legally in case you were subject to any removal proceedings. I have just scratched the surface of this program and what it can do. So if you or a close relative were a victim of a crime and you reported it to the police, you should find an attorney who handles these types of petition. If you would like to learn more, or you want us to recommend an attorney, you can send us an email at vinceyexchange@gmail.com. Thanks for your time and good luck.